not complete. Not one
Hi, I'm Melissa
thing
Mamoni.
less.
Do I say what I am?
Yep.
Okay.
Why can't you see?
Hi, I'm Melissa Mamoni. I'm a Christian speaker and writer.
Have you ever had a day where your head hits the pillow, you have a small smile of satisfaction on your face knowing that you have met everyone's needs? The to-do list is done. There is not one thing left. No. Well, if you have, I want to meet you. Think about it. Think about the worst time of your life, the worst, most awkward, darkest period of no hope, unknowing anything, junior high. And what happens when we get into a really hard spot in our marriage? And we're hanging on and we're holding on to that marriage with all we can. And then we're trying to hang on to God in the same way and do all that effort and holding on to Him. And our arms get really tired. And we can't do it anymore. And our grip slips. And if we're able to come and bring our messiness before one another, then we start to learn a little bit more about God Himself.
For so long, I struggled with even sharing with anyone about the fact that I suffered with depression and anxiety.
I couldn't quite seem to figure out a way to sort of pull myself out of it. And as the time went on, things got darker and darker and darker for me, and I didn't know how to cope.
And when I started to share it with the women at my church, I started to see this transformation in them where they felt freer to share their vulnerabilities and their struggles.
And I remember they put me in a small room, and it literally did have padded walls, and it had a small window. And I remember looking out that window and seeing the night sky and that moon and asking God, "Are you there? Do you see me?"
So when I started to take that same message outside of the four walls, I was really touched that women related to my struggles.
Sometimes I got to confess, I mean, when I'm up here teaching you, it's not like I've got it all figured out, and I'm inviting you along on the journey with me so that our arms are locked together in doing this.
I have never wanted to be the depression lady. Like, it has never been something that I wanted to be my platform of speaking. I would have never imagined that something so incredibly personal and intimate would be displayed in such a public way. I wouldn't have chosen it on some level, but God did, and I've seen what He's done through it.
That I have had a lifelong battle with depression and with anxiety. It is something that comes and goes, and I do not like it. I have asked God for years, would you please take it away? And it was really amazing. I made great arguments, let me tell you. I mean, I had PowerPoint presentations, I had the 3 steps of the reasons why, and God said no. He said no. I'm not going to take it away for now.
It was one of the most desperate times of my life. But desperation is often the first pencil marks or brush strokes on a canvas of a masterpiece that God is creating in your life. And desperation is lonely, and it's confusing, and it is dark, but it is where God's providence begins.
I'm not going to be the depression lady. I'm the joy lady.
That is the voice of God. Now, I did not know that God used the word dude, but He does.
And this advice appealed to the king, no doubt. And
What do you think of when you think of St. Patrick's Day? One person said Jesus and one person said beer.
and blah, 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 blah.
Last service, they all said beer. So, we're in church, people. See, sister, I feel you.
So yeah, I have depression and anxiety, but the message is joy.
And what we're doing here tonight is we're telling the same story. We're reminding one another that we are part of a larger story of God. The voices in our heads will tell us that we're not enough, and the voice of God says, my grace is enough. The voices of this world will say that you might need to be a little bit more like someone else. The voice of God tells you that you are fearfully and beautifully and wonderfully made.
If people can look back and say that I reflected God's grace in some way that was transformative for them, I will be honored by that.
And His forgiveness will always always outlast our sinfulness. So there is nothing that we need to hide from him in any way. We have not been invited to a safe life. We have been invited to a life that says he is a big God who does big things. And if you don't ever try him on it, you're not going to find that out.
I just want my story to be used in a way where people understand that God isn't waiting for us to have it together. And if there's one person who starts to feel freer because of something I've shared, that will be it for me.